Okay, so for my outline, the third outline for the learning teaching evaluation, I was unable to make the meeting this week. So I decided to do this instead and do the video. Anyway, so for for week 7, chapter 3, it talked about the principles of program evaluation. And for my notes with this, I thought it was an interesting chapter about all the different effects of having of doing a program evaluation, but also the things that should be incorporated into it. I thought, the first thing that I wrote down is to have a shared vision. I thought it was interesting. In the reading, it said vision statements focus and express the shared hopes and dreams for the program. And I think sometimes when we go into a group, when we're doing something as a group or with a partner or with other people, sometimes we forget that other people have a vision. We think that we all should have the same vision and the same mission statement or whatever it is. But by working together and sharing our thoughts with each other, we can create an even better vision and a better idea when all of our ideas come together. Then it talked about how even more specific than visions are goals. And I just had a thought of how as we write down our goals, they're more easily reached. I think writing down all of these things when we're creating an evaluation too. I thought it was interesting how they pointed out that the immediate effects are called outcomes and the long-term effects are called impacts. I think both of these things are extremely important when creating a program evaluation, because you not only want to know how the program affected them for the next week or for today or tomorrow, but also in the upcoming years, like how it will affect them today, but then also how will it affect you 3 years from now, learning what you've learned during this program. I also thought that it was interesting how they mentioned that through evaluations you should ask a lot of different types of questions. And there are different types of evaluations. I didn't really think of that, but as it stated in there was the post-test and retrospective pre-test. That was just one of the examples that they gave of types of evaluations. And I never really thought that there were different types. For the week 8 reading, the Appendix E, about ethics and family life education, I like this chapter. Was interesting because I was able to apply it more through the case studies we've done using the Code of Ethics. I thought it was interesting to be able to learn more about this and why it's been important. In a different reading, I think it was for this week, it was talking about how we lots of people will mix up family therapy and family life education. But I think the Code of Ethics really does help to understand more the difference between them, knowing that it's really family life education really is about the education and helping families to grow. Anyways, I'll talk about that more in a few minutes, but I thought it was interesting how they said that, like any other thing, like any other business, people can do harm. So having this ethical standard is important for family life educators, especially when it comes to something so fragile like the family, that they have guidelines to go by, or so that they can still, help families and help them keep the law and do those things, but also be kind. It talked about how, I don't remember the exact words, but it said something about being caring and also honest and polite and professional. And I thought that was really, really important when it comes to ethics and family life education. In the next reading, it was professional ethics and practice. And it was pretty similar to the other reading. In there it said the strength of a code of ethics is that it carefully describes expectations for professional behavior and reflects important professional values. I think lots of times, I would assume more in family therapy, opinions can be shared more, or example, or like, in my life this happened, blah blah blah. But when it comes to family life education, I like how it says it reflects important professional values. That through family life education, the main goal really is to help people understand and receive that knowledge that they need in order to make their families continue to get better and better. It was saying at the very end of that reading, it said, it pointed out a few things. It said that ethics is a habit. It is an alive and evolving process. It provides support for being moral family life educators through the consensus of professional thinking about important values and principles. And it is a group of professionals processing difficult situations to generate insights and moral strategies. It focused a lot on how important it is that family life educators help families to follow the law. They give the example of if a family life educator finds out that children are being abused, although they might, with the code of ethics, go against respecting the family and culture and all those other things. However, they still need to keep the law and follow the law. And so usually it is the right thing to do. But it's important to keep in mind the law and the code of ethics together. Then in this week's reading, week 9, in the first one about boundaries between parent and family education and family therapy, I never really thought about the difference until reading about this. But like I was saying earlier, there really is a difference. Instead of, I think that in the next reading, the reconceptualizing the domain and boundaries of family life education, it was said that family therapy is about helping families to get fixed and doing those things to help them, but family life education is about setting goals with them and helping them to achieve what they want in their family. So there's a distinct difference instead of just listening to their problems and helping fix them therapeutically and educating families so they can reach their, like it said in the text, function at their optimal levels. Anyways, those are some of the things I learned from the reading these past few weeks. And yep, that's it.